לרווחה את שערי המולדת לכל יהודי.
40 years of displacement. Racial discrimination. Poverty and unemployment. Systematic oppression. Everything was ready for a widespread uprising against the occupiers. December 8, 1987. This is where the story of Hamas begins. An Israeli truck near the Beit Hanoun Wall that separates the Gaza Strip from Israel ran over several Palestinian workers. The Palestinians considered this crash to be intentional. The next day, during the funeral procession, angry Palestinians attacked the Israeli military headquarters in Jabalia with stones. Israeli soldiers fired warning shots to disperse the protesters. The Palestinians responded with stones and Molotov cocktails. The Israeli military, unable to confront the Palestinians, called for reinforcements and killed 4 Palestinians. The killing of these 4 Palestinians sparked a widespread Palestinian uprising in the autumn of 1987 in Jabalia, the northern Gaza Strip, and the flames of this uprising spread to other cities, villages, and camps in Palestine. This event marked the beginning of the First Intifada and the formation of the Islamic resistance movement, Hamas. Hamas was founded simultaneously with the beginning of the First Intifada in the home of Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, in the presence of 6 leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood, including Abdulaziz al-Rantizi and Mahmoud al-Zahar in the Gaza Strip. In January 1988, Jamil Hamami, one of the members of the Muslim Brotherhood in the West Bank, established the military wing of the Hamas movement in the West Bank. Initially, the Israeli authorities did not consider Hamas a serious threat, but as the number of supporters of this movement increased, alarm bells began to ring in Israel. Sheikh Ahmed Yassin led Hamas for years until he was assassinated by Israeli forces in 2004. After him, Abdulaziz al-Rantizi took over the leadership of Hamas, until he too was killed later that year. Then Khalid Mashal, and finally, in 2017, Ismail Haniyeh became the leader of Hamas. Now, Hamas has become the most powerful force opposing the existence of Israel in Palestine. With all the ups and downs it's faced from its inception to the present day, Hamas remains the most important Palestinian group in the struggle against Israel. What is the secret of this power and stability? To answer this question, we must take a look inside Hamas. In 1988, the Islamic resistance movement published a charter that emphasized Islamic principles and armed resistance. This charter presented Islam as the foundation of all Hamas's actions and considered jihad and armed resistance a religious and national duty against the occupiers. According to this charter, Hamas does not recognize Israel, emphasizes the rights of Palestinian refugees to return to their lands, and rejects any alternative plans that do not lead to the complete independence and freedom of Palestine. In its new charter that was released in Doha in 2007, while Hamas maintained its fundamental principles and Islamic approach, it has expressed them with a more contemporary discourse reflecting its changed conditions. Some of the most important changes in the 2007 charter compared to the 1988 charter are: 1. In the second article of the 1988 charter, it was stated that Hamas is the branch of the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine, but in the 2007 charter, the relationship between Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood is not mentioned, indicating a distancing from Brotherhood ideology within Hamas. 2. In clauses 5 and 6 of the first charter, emphasis was placed on establishing an Islamic state and a constitution based on Sharia, but in the new charter, there is silence regarding the type of government, and instead, democracy is emphasized several times. 3. In clause 7 of the first charter, there were phrases that could be interpreted as hostile towards Jews. In clause 16 of the new charter, Hamas emphasizes that it is only opposed to Zionism and has never fought Jews because of their being Jewish. 4. The new charter addresses the issue of women more extensively, and in Article 34, it emphasizes women's rights in all areas of resistance, political, social, and economic. The political structure of Hamas is one of the most transparent and democratic structures among Palestinian resistance groups. In this structure, first, local councils are elected, and then the provincial councils are formed. The provincial councils elect the regional councils. The 3 regional councils also select their regional heads, and the heads of the 3 regions appoint the members of the political bureau. In the organizational structure of Hamas, the political bureau is the most important executive and leadership body of this group. The term of office for council positions and elected positions is 4 years. Hamas regulations allow for both women and men to become members of these councils. 19 members of the political bureau are selected in a 2-part process that involves the 3 councils electing a 10-member council and the head of Hamas in Gaza proposing another 9 people, who must then be approved by the newly elected 10-member council. These 19 people collectively elect the head of the political bureau, who is considered the head of Hamas. Hamas regulations stipulate that if the head is from Gaza, the deputy should not be from Gaza, and, if the head is from the diaspora or the West Bank, the deputy should not be from these 2 regions. Until 2017, Ismail Haniyeh was the head of Gazan Affairs. In 2017, after Haniyeh was elected as the head of the political bureau of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar was elected as the head of Gazan Affairs. Khalid Mashal has been the head of Hamas's diaspora affairs since 2017, and Musa Abu Marzouk has been his deputy. Salah al-Arauri served as the head of West Bank affairs until his assassination in Lebanon in January 2024. His deputy is Zahir Jabrin, who is also responsible for the Palestinian prisoners dossier. Ismail Haniyeh continued to serve as the head of the political bureau of Hamas until his assassination in Iran on July 31, 2024. He was succeeded by Yahya Sinwar, who died battling Israeli forces on October 16, 2024. The Hamas movement has representative offices in some countries in the region, especially Arab and Islamic countries. These offices include the Iran office headed by Dr. Khalid al-Qadumi, the Yemen office headed by Osama Abdul-Muadi, the Lebanon office headed by Ali Baraka. Additionally, Hamas has offices in countries such as Qatar, Sudan, and Egypt, whose representatives are not publicly known. In 2006, the Hamas movement was able to form the legal government of Palestine by winning a majority of seats in the Palestinian Legislative Council elections. However, due to a falling out with the rival Fatah movement, this government only over the Gaza Strip. The Hamas government has 21 ministries. In the cabinet sessions of this government, in addition to the 21 ministries, 5 organizations also participate, which operate under the direct supervision of the Prime Minister. The al-Qassam Brigades, as the military wing of the Hamas movement, are a paramilitary force in Palestine that are divided into 2 sections, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Qassam members in the West Bank usually remain anonymous for security reasons until they are killed or arrested by Israeli forces, at which time their identities are revealed. In the Gaza Strip, the Qassam brigades are divided into 5 sectors: North Gaza, South Gaza, Central Gaza Strip, Gaza City, and Khan Yunis. The command relationship of these brigades with the Hamas political bureau is very close. The exact number of fighters in these brigades is not known. Some media estimate their numbers between 10 to 20,000, but according to CIA reports, the Qassam brigades have between 20,000 to 25,000 members. Ultimately, none of the numbers are conclusive. In 1992, Hamas established its military unit to centralize and organize military operations against Israel in the 1980s and 1990s. The name Qassam is derived from his ad-Din al-Qassam, a Syrian fighter who, after having to leave French-occupied Syria, came to Palestine and fought against British occupation. Currently, Mohammed Deif is the military commander of the Qassam brigades, and Marwan Issa is his deputy. Many experts believe that the actions of the Qassam brigades against Israel have led to Hamas gaining significant popularity among a large segment of Palestinians. In contrast, the Palestinian Authority, due to its failure to stop the process of illegal Israeli settlements and because of its security cooperation with Israel, has lost popularity among Palestinians. With the emergence of extremist right-wing policies in Israel, the Palestinian Authority has been more marginalized than ever. Hamas is known as a resistance force in the region that strives for the goal of liberating Jerusalem. Many people consider this group to be a legitimate defender of Palestinian rights, and its military wing, the ad-Din al-Qassam Brigades, is recognized as a symbol of the struggle for freedom and the liberation of occupied territories. However, the United States and some allied countries have placed Hamas or its military wing on the list of terrorist groups and have imposed sanctions against it. The United Nations, in contrast, has not designated any part of this group as a terrorist organization. The resistance of the Palestinian people is not just a local struggle but a cry for justice and freedom that transcends geographical borders and unites the hearts of people around the world.